Hello, hello. Here we are again, coming to you from Broadcast Team Alpha. And that's the show for the thinking global citizen, the one that is not afraid to look outside of the box and find out what else is out there that I missed. And expand the paradigm, kick the old one to the curb where it belongs, and then accept the new things that rings in your heart and you feel is the truth. Well, my name is Aage, and my co-host Nori cannot be here today, and we're gonna miss her because this show will be right up her alley. Anyway, we're coming to you from 44 different platforms around the world, and one of them is the Conscious Awakening Network. You got to go over there and have a look at them. ConsciousAwakeningNetwork.org. They have about, I think, close to 50 different shows over there that talks about all of the things that we need to know. And before I introduce the guest, I also want to tell you just how you can contact me and Nori. Just go to broadcastteamalpha.com. That's our website. And send us a message. We get the email and we'll get back to you so we can see what we can do for you. And if you are watching us on YouTube, that is a great place to be because that's the only one where we can monitor the chat room. And of course, I'm here by myself now, so we may be a little slow on the chat room, but talk among yourself and maybe Mac can help out a little bit. So otherwise, Nori and I created a spiritual think tank where we do amazing things. It seems like we create out of seemingly nothing sometimes, because whatever we have thought of and intended for and visualized and loved into existence in our mind is placed in the unified field as potential for physical creation later. We go there and we bring it back into the physical, and it can show up right here with us so we can enjoy it now. If you want to come and check it out, maybe get something created for yourself in addition to what you're thinking now, just send us an email to themastermindconnection@gmail.com. And I'll get the email and I'll send you some information and a link so you can come and check it out. And yes, now I'm going to talk about the guest for just a little bit. He is Vinney Tolman. He was here probably, I think, about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. We did a show before. And it was extremely interesting because he had a near-death experience. And in addition to what you are going to hear tonight, you need to go back and listen to that show we did the last time, because that explains how the near-death experience happened, what he saw on the other side, what much of the communication was that he saw, and we're going to expand on that tonight. Now, Vinney is also an author. He's a sought-after speaker and podcaster and interviewed on radio shows and everywhere. And he had an incredible experience when he was 25 years old. He was found dead on the floor in a restaurant, and he had been dead for 45 minutes. His body was later revived from the body bag, and he woke up in coma 3 days later. Think about that. Medical science tells us that any time that you stop breathing for 3 to 5 minutes, there's lack of oxygen to the brain and you get brain damage. Well, he was dead for 45 minutes. So that tells me there was some divine intervention here. And that is one of the things that we also want to talk about. And he's going to talk about what he saw on the other side, and also things that we will mention, or he's going to mention about the future that we did not talk about last time. Because there, in addition to the clear communications on the other side, there are understandings surrounding the subject where there are pearls in it. And that is where some of the things that we can talk about happens. We're going to talk about UFOs, maybe what about that alien invasion that was talked about? And will we be able to keep our country as a free country, or will we lose it this time? There's some thoughts on that, and I want to hear what you think on that. And gosh, I've been talking way too much, Vinney. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Aage. It's great to be here.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. After we did the last show, I went back and listened to it again. And that incredible experience you had, it rang with me because there are others also that had experiences like that. But maybe you could recap a little bit, at least 5 or 10 minutes of that experience, because this time there's new people watching and listening that did not hear it last time. Could you do that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, my experience starts back in 2003. I had just taken a toxic version of a supplement that at the time was quite a popular supplement. But the version that I got and the version that my buddy got that we both took, it was quite toxic. It was 20 times stronger than the normal stuff we were used to. We took our supplement and felt immediately ill. So we went down to a little fast food place down the street to get something to eat, hopefully making us feel better. I made it into the bathroom and locked the door. And that's where I passed away. That's where I died. I ended up falling on the floor unconscious. And then while I was on my back, I began to vomit, which caused me to aspirate, to suffocate on my own vomit. Meanwhile, my buddy, he went in and collapsed on the booth and started to also vomit. They called emergency services for him, but they didn't know that we had come in, that we had come together. Even though I had come in first, they didn't know we had come together. And so they called and got him hauled away. He ended up being fine. They pumped his stomach. He was released from the hospital the next day. But for me and my body, it was dead for a while. About close to an hour after my buddy had been picked up, the manager of the restaurant opened that bathroom because it had been locked for so long. And there he saw the dead body on the ground. They called 911. They got another ambulance out there. And this second ambulance pronounced the body dead. They did do preliminary attempts at resuscitation without any result. They went ahead and bagged the body. They put the body in the back of the ambulance with a rookie medic. And they went ahead and processed the scene. But from the time that they processed the scene, that they had pronounced the body dead, until the rookie broke protocol and attempted resuscitation himself, it was exactly 47 minutes. So from time of death declared until the heart was restarted or started up with a defib machine that the rookie hooked up, it was exactly 47 minutes. So 47 minutes documented that the body was dead, that I had moved on. And now, even though they did get my body back, I was not back in my consciousness. I was off traveling and taking a peek at the other side of the curtain. And I was doing that for 3 days. So I was brain dead for 3 days. And during those 3 days, I was off seeing what the real world is, seeing what the real existence is. And our existence here is not that. Our existence here is the avatar existence. This is the virtual reality per se. But yeah, that's my experience. Is I got to spend 3 precious, amazing days in heaven, and I call it heaven. To me, it's actually home. And I got to see where most of us came from. I got to see where most of us are going to go after this. So it was a truly life-changing experience. I got to meet someone who was my guide, and later to find out 7 months later who that guide was, and that he was actually related to me, and there was no way for me to know who he was, or even by the name he had me call him. But yeah, it was a very life-changing experience for sure for me.
When you found yourself in his presence, what were the feelings that you got? One thing
The
is
first,
seeing it, but the feelings are more important.
yeah, the first thing I could feel distinctly was just tremendous peace, tremendous love, unconditional love. And I could feel that there was nothing I could do to deserve the love that I was getting, that it was just being given. And it was being given to all, to any and all. And just that love alone was enough to change your life forever. Just to feel it for a few moments.
Did you now you did say that when most, oh boy, hang on, that's what I get when I'm closing the phone off. When you were there, did you have the feeling that everybody will go to a place like that, or are there other places where maybe not so pleasant could be also?
Well, the not so pleasant place is here. Here is as bad as it gets for most of us. You know, Earth life is as hard as it gets, actually, and the way that spirit looks at life on Earth, they look at it like a school. They look at it as one of the hardest schools to graduate from. And so it's almost as if we fail here, we're still doing better than succeeding through other life paths, through other worlds.
You know, in my father's house, there's many rooms, right?
Yes. Yeah,
So,
there is a lot of rooms out there, a lot of worlds. And
yeah,
that's one thing that's, you know, NASA and a lot of the space exploration and science has tried to explain is life is the rarity. But from my experience, it's the opposite. Life is abundant throughout the universe.
yeah.
Everywhere you look, there's life in the universe. We just don't look the right way. We look through the paradigm of life according to us. You know, we're carbon-based beings here, but focusing on carbon-based life forms that live off of oxygen and water, that there's a whole nother realm of existence, and so many different realms of frequencies and realities in the universe. Even so much that there's existence around us every single day that we don't see.
Yeah, like shadow people. I have them living in the house here with me. I can see them sometime out of the corner of my eye. They're here. They live here too with me, and I'm okay with that. What about those? Who are those guys? They just, is that their heaven or is it something different?
Well, because life is persistent across the universe, it's also persistent across the quantum realms. There's many possibilities for the soul to grow, many possibilities for the soul to grow. And you know, the human life, the life that we take on as humans here, we take on a lot of the DNA, almost like a collected DNA from all over the universe. So we, you know, in scripture, when it says that man was made in the likeness of God, I feel that the meaning behind that is all the different likenesses were brought together to create man, and that's what we are. And to know God is to know all of those likenesses, but to also see beyond the physical, to see beyond the third and fourth dimensions, and to see the spiritual dimension, the emotional, the energetic dimensions that coexist with us and exist even within us in our own paradigm, our own path that we're existing in.
I know there's an awful lot of people that is afraid of death.
Mm-hmm.
And many reasons for that. Maybe some stuff they did in the past. Could be people coming back from the war and they know they killed people in the war, and there's all kinds of reasons. They figure that, well, it's against one of the 10 commandments or whatever else that they feel that is important to them. But I think in the last, I would really like you to confirm this in your understanding of it. And that is that if we totally believe and we visualize ourselves being in the good and going to a place like what you're talking about, that will happen. If we are totally buried in fear, we could end up in a different, lower vibratory place, could we not?
Well, the keys to the kingdom are within us. And if we allow fear to take control of us, it will take control of us as we move beyond this life. And so it is very important for us to not allow fear to control us. But yet this world, this whole world is controlled by fear. It is.
Yeah.
So that's where I feel that we can live in the world, but not of the world. We can live in the world, and no matter what's going on the news and on all the doom cycles, that's what I like to call them. No matter what's going on the doom cycles, go outside and see that the sun is shining. See that the beautiful plants and trees are existing. That even after the worst storm of life, the sun will rise again and life will persist here. And once you understand that the spirit of life is eternal persistence, our soul, our spirit, it's eternal. There's nothing that can put it out. And in physics, we know that energy can never be destroyed. It can only change from form to form to form. And our own Jacob's ladder that allows us to climb to the highest aspect of existence is love, is complete love. And it's fear that helps us descend Jacob's ladder and even build ourselves a cage to live and exist in. I mean, go outside in your local community and look at the people that are still living in fear. You know, how many years later, and from the past pandemic, and how soon to the next one? There will be a next one. That's facts. Science says eventually it'll happen again. You know, so how soon are you going to build that cage of fear to put yourself in next time? Don't allow that fear to cage you. Be smart, be loving, but don't let fear. There's greater things than death to be afraid of. And living in a cage of fear is worse than death. To me, death is one of the greatest gifts we have is death. It's one of the greatest gifts. I can't wait till it happens one day for any of us or all of us. It's going to be so blessed and beautiful and amazing. And I've been there. I got to see how amazing it is. And there's a reason why most of us don't remember what it's like over there. Otherwise, we would quickly go. We would do whatever we needed to do to get over there.
Mhm. Yeah, talk just a little bit about the person that you spent most of your time with on the other side. What was he like? Was it, did he look like us, or did you see other people or entities over there? What was the environment like that you were in?
I saw supreme conscious life there in the heavenly realm. I saw all sorts of beings. I saw that the loving intelligence inside flowers and grass and trees and water had such a supreme consciousness in it that it was probably exceeding the consciousness that can exist in me. It felt like a higher form of being. And in heaven, there's so many layers to what I experienced heaven to be. I could tell that even alternate universes and alternate worlds had their own heavens, but I could feel that for us, on Earth life and some other places that are like us, our heaven is the place that I got to go see. And the man that I saw there, at first I thought he was God. I really did. He looked like a kind of a 1940s, 1950s version of what Hollywood or plays would make God look. It was this white man with very, very pink skin, and his skin, it glistened. There was light coming from him. And his eyes, they felt like they could reach in and hold your soul while he was just looking at you. And he called himself Drake. And the funny thing is, I ended up finding out who he was. And his real name was Charles, but his middle name was Drake. But only his closest friends would call him Drake. Everybody else called him Charles. And even the name he gave me, I couldn't actually go do research and find him. I actually later stumbled into who he was in a little historical project in a little town in Wyoming. I got to see he was one of the founders of that little town and one of the first surveymen to survey the land and portion it up for people to purchase. It was a beautiful experience all the way around. It helped me understand that the generations that go before us, they look forward to paving the way for us. They look forward to serving us in any way that they can. Even if we didn't know them here, they know us eternally. They knew us before we came here in this life. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it gets complicated, doesn't it?
It does.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, what
and
part of life isn't, right?
yeah, well, especially here. But
Yeah.
when it comes to free will, how far does that free will go? Because my understanding that we come here with a mission, so to speak, or things that we have predetermined or agreed to do. How do you mix that with free will? What if we don't? Now I decided that on the other side I was going to do this, but I don't like to do that. I'm going to do something else. How far does our free will go?
Free will is the fuel that runs our entire existence. It is. And even though a lot of our decisions are foreordained, it was our free will that made the selection to foreordain them. And it's also our free will to follow through and actually make them happen in this life. But at every point, at every juncture, we have that free will. And I've noticed in this life, in this world, when our creator really gets behind us as individuals and us in society, it's when we're trying to preserve free agency, free will, preserve the ability to choose. And, you know, I grew up in kind of a conservative household. I ended up working in TV and film, and so I went very liberal with my beliefs when I did that. But after I had my experience, I really only had one option, and that was to be pretty much a libertarian, not a libertarian that believes in anarchy, but a libertarian that if you put a bunch of people together and let them choose, most of the time they're going to choose good,
Yeah.
especially as they work together to make those choices. And it's not a foolproof way, because we are human. You do have other societies that make big mistakes with their selections, but as long as they're being given all the facts and they're not being manipulated, they will make good choices. It's only when facts are omitted, it's only when the truth is not being given, that we select bad leaders. And so it's so important for us to, as individuals, when we can, when our society allows us to vote and to make choices, to do your research, but do it bipartisan. Don't don't go in just joining one team. Go in and really do your numbers research. Don't believe the news, don't believe the web. Go do a lot of open research, but the most important research I can recommend is do an inner check. Check on your intuition, because that intuition is communication from our creator. And when you can check with intuition, a lot of times it will go against what logic is telling you. And when it is, it's guiding you through a blurry moment. It's guiding you through where you've been beguiled, where you've been lied to in a way, or deceived. So follow that intuition. It's vitally important. It's part of what I do for a living. I teach people how to turn on their intuition and to listen to it, and to make it a daily part of their life.
Yeah, absolutely. You're so right. I love libertarians because in 2000, I got on the ballot and ran for Congress on the libertarian ticket. And I'll tell you, I learned a lot. That things have changed now. It's a little harder than it was 20 some years ago.
Well,
And I
20
think,
years ago, you could be libertarian and still be viable politically in the United States anyway. Nowadays, you have to join one of the two parties. That's really it. But you can still be libertarian in your principle and in your mindset, and just don't just be voting for someone because they match the party that you've joined. Really do your gut check, do your intuition check on everybody.
that brings me to a couple of other questions here, but I'll tell you, we are at the bottom of the hour and we are talking with Vinney Tolman. He is an author and he had a tremendously exciting, yes, I'm going to use the word exciting, near-death experience. And we're talking about how it happened. And stay with us, because after now we are going to talk about UFOs. What kind of understanding does he have from what he got in the surrounding understanding of that experience? What is going on this world in the sky, and maybe where we are going with this country of ours, if we're going to be able to keep it or not. So I wonder though, if we go outside at night right now, look up into the sky, I bet every other time that you do that, you see something moving across the sky that shouldn't be there. It happens a lot. I wonder, what is your understanding of some of this? of what maybe they are, as well as how soon do you think that we are all going to know that, yes, even the really dumb ones is going to understand that we're not alone?
Yeah, I feel like if you're involved in energy work, if you're involved in anything in the energetic field, even in the physics field, you understand that there is intelligence that's far greater than us, but there's also intelligence far lesser than us across the spectrum. And most of what we're seeing in the sky is either us or future us, or even higher intelligences than we could aspire to. And what's beautiful about that is one thing I saw very vividly is if I looked in our past far enough, if I looked truly deeply into our past, I saw our future. And if I look deep enough into our future, I see our past. That Earth in itself, Earth School, is on a huge cycle, and that we are existing in one of those cycles, that technology comes and goes on this planet on a regular basis. And if you do your own research into that, you can find irrefutable evidence of technology and sophistication of some sort hundreds of millions of years ago on this planet. And did they look like us? That's to be debated. But I'll tell you that it was here. It's in the fossil record.
Yeah.
There's hammers, there's screws, there's machine parts, there's footprints, human footprints, fossilized. And one of them is a huge human footprint that paleontologists want to make us believe that it's a mutated dinosaur that made that footprint, but no, it's a human footprint. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of science here if you want to look for it. But here's the thing: that's a road that's hard to run if you try to go down the science road on this, because anywhere that you have someone telling you in the geological record that there's proof of ancient man or ancient technology, there's always a whole team on the opposite end saying, nope, here's the explanation, carbon dating incorrect, or something that throws everything out. But I'll tell you this, unequivocal, technology has been on this earth long before we were here. Long before.
Yeah.
And it will be here long after we move forward into a different space. And it's more about how are we going to honor that technology? Are we going to let it amplify and uplift us? Or are we going to have it just replace us? That gets to be our choice as we learn to strike up a positive relationship with technology. I don't think just because we can do something necessarily should we. Because
Right.
just, if there's one thing we can learn from AI, you can't put AI back in the bag. Once it's out, it's out.
It's out.
And there's no rewinding time to put it back.
Yeah. What you said, that if you look far enough into the past, you could see the future. That is exactly sound science. I remember reading a paper that Albert Einstein wrote, and he said if you look far enough into the future, you will end up where you started. And that is because of curved space, or time-like curves. Because at that level, time and space is one. They all going in a, you will end up where you started. Now, I'm sure that's quite far into the future, but it does come around in a circle.
Yeah, it's all about zooming out, right? If you're
Yeah,
looking at time, zoom out far enough and you realize it's not linear, it's cyclical. and we are continually on a cycle of time. And to me, it's almost like a toroidal field in a cyclical nature, so that it's rotating up and out and back into itself.
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful thing. I know that time doesn't exist in the heavenly realm at all, because there was people that many more years were going to be before they go to that heavenly space, that they were already there. And also I was finding people just freshly in that space that should have gotten there hundreds of years earlier. So they're, in that space, it's all now. Everything is happening now. And time is due to helping the mind or the consciousness believe that there's a beginning and an end. Not that there is, but for the consciousness to believe that there's a beginning and an end. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people these days are talking about the new earth, that it will be created or is created for us once we have the acceleration of consciousness to get up to where that new earth is. What is your opinion on that?
I feel that as long as we don't mess it up, the earth is on its own trajectory, its own process of ascendance. It's ascending on its own process. And in fact, our entire solar system is warming, not just the planet.
Yeah.
Now, can we love, honor, and respect the resources and Mother Nature itself better? Absolutely, and we should be. We shouldn't be treating Mother Nature like our unlimited bank that we can just keep drawing from. We need to give back. We need to bring balance to our use of resources, materials, man hours, labor even. We need to build just as much as we take, but know this, that the entire solar system is warming. The data is there, the entire system. And I promise you, it's not the actions of us, the ants on the back of the elephant, that is making the whole elephant herd run. It's not making, if the elephant herd is stampeding, there's an outside force.
Yeah.
And once you start to understand that force, it's momentum, it's movement. And in fact, the entire solar system is moving in unison with itself. And in fact, our whole galaxy is moving. And it is moving in a trajectory that raises the frequency of this planet. It raises the frequency of everything around this planet, except for one thing that's not natural, that's within our system. And that one thing, it resists the movement, the natural movement of the system. But the power that it's held over eons is waning, and the system will win, and we will go to that higher place. People call that higher place, that higher frequency, the new earth. It's a new way of being. And what it is, it's a place where lies don't work anymore, where everyone has the gift of perception. What that means is someone can lie to you and you know that they're lying. And that also means someone can tell you a truth and you know that they're speaking a truth, because it will resonate with you. It resonates in your heart, in your mind, in your consciousness. But the one thing that can prevent us from being on that ascended path is our technology. Because we look to our technology for all of our guidance.
Yeah. I mentioned UFOs and aliens before, but there is something also that is on the mind of a lot of people, including me, and that is that, did you have a feeling of anything in the periphery of what you saw, a perceived, I'm trying to be diplomatic here, a perceived alien invasion?
Yes, I saw that there is a perceived alien invasion, and it's like a bad play at a high school.
Yeah.
For anyone, and for anyone who has the gift of intuition, for anyone who has the gift of perception, they will see it for what it is, a bad illusion. And it is. They've been the organization, the group that has been working on this for a long time, by the way, they've been working on it for more than 50 years.
Yeah.
The group that's working to put this on, and who that is, I'm not going to go there, because that's you'd have
That's
to
fair.
know them to know them. And
Yeah.
the group that's putting this on, as they put it on, some people will believe it hook, line, and sinker. They will run for wherever they are told to go run, and do whatever they're told to do to be quote unquote safe. They will herd themselves into corrals to be collected. But
Yeah.
it's important for us to, again, follow that intuition, because when you're letting fear make decisions for you, you're going to tend to make bad decisions. Most of the time. It's pretty rare that fear, especially strong fear, allows you to make a good decision. Because here's the thing, when you're in a state of fear, you only choose between what you're being shown as a solution or as an option. But when you're in a fearful state and you allow yourself to exit that fearful state, you will perceive additional options, additional alternatives that you wouldn't have perceived otherwise. It's like magic. It's just like street magic. They want to control the options. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That will
And
happen though, for
yeah.
sure. Yeah, I know for a fact it'll happen, and likely it'll happen within the next 5 years, if not even guaranteed within the next 5 years.
Yeah. Another, these are very strange times right now, coming up on a new election. It's people arguing about absolutely everything. It splits up families sometimes, and people are just turning goofy. But my question is, did you have any understanding of, will we be able to keep this country as what we call a free country, or will we lose it
Those
all?
who those who preserve freedom in this country will be the ones who choose to preserve it and not fight over it. And the way we preserve our freedom is with our choices, not with our weapons and our arms. But I'll tell you this, the same way, if you go to a football game or to a soccer game, you get two people that are the same person, but one is wearing one jersey, the other is wearing the other jersey, and they're perceiving each other as enemies.
Mm-hmm.
But they are in fact the same person as each other. That is the explanation of politics right there. 90% of us have a common set of core values. We care about our families, we care about our rights, we care about our individual liberties. But at the stroke of a pen, we could hand all of them over for safety, for security, to either side. So just know this, if you hate one candidate and you really love the other candidate, look to see who is puppeting you.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, we
someone
need to
is.
look deeper into that. And I know there an awful lot of people, there's one big mistake they're doing, and that is to believe a politician.
Yes. Yeah. That's how you can tell a politician's lying. Their mouth's moving, right? They're making a promise. Yeah. And
Yeah.
my thing is, if all these solutions actually worked, why do we hear the same solutions every political cycle?
Oh, it's just,
The
even the
same
really,
the same solutions every political cycle, they're thrown out
yeah,
there. Yeah.
Just
It's going to be
keep,
us unifying with each other and not allowing government to separate us. That's what's going to save this country. No matter what religion we are, no matter what lifestyle we are, no matter what belief system we have, we love and respect each other, and we don't let someone separate us. We don't ostracize any one religion or belief system or look or vocation or education. We love and support and respect all.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember also we talked before the show a little bit, and there are a lot of tools in that basket that the dark side is using. And there is one real controversial one, and that is possible disasters.
Mm-hmm.
Have you any understanding in a diplomatic way that you could talk on that?
Well, here's the things I know, okay? There will be real disasters, and there will be maximized disasters. And that means some type of perceived disaster spread across all the airwaves, all the news, all the apps talking about it, but for an agenda, not to actually support or solve or bring a solution to said disaster. But then there will be real disasters too, real ones. And that's known. We know there was a book written called Adam and Eve back in the 70s, and it was deemed as classified as soon as it was written. And a good 40% of it has been declassified. There's so much that's right in front of our noses that we've ignored our whole life. The sacred texts, they talk about these times. Every sacred text talks about now. And when I mean now, I mean they were talking about now. There is
Right now?
there's signs and symbols that were prophesied thousands of years ago, and they are now happening. The Euphrates River drying up.
Yeah.
Look at what the Euphrates looked like in 2022, 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't full, but it was plenty. And look at it now. It's almost like a desert.
Yeah, it is. Totally dry. It's just a little bit in certain places and otherwise dry.
Yeah, so there's a lot that our holy scripture, our holy writings were warning us about. But here's the thing. Every single day, no matter what's going on, we can wake up, we can enjoy the sunshine when the sun shines. Or if you're from Vegas like I am, you enjoy the rain. I love the rain. When it rains here, everyone's so happy because we never get rain in Vegas, right? And enjoy what is. Put yourself in a place of joy, solitude, and abundant happiness, no matter what's going on in the outside world. And when you're in that space, you will always be directed to the right place to be, the right time to be there, to be protected and to be preserved. And if it's time for you to go, if it's time for your ticket to get punched, you'll be in the right place for that too. But you have to understand that this universe and this whole life system is built out of unconditional love. So don't get caught up in the story of fear. Any of the stories of fear, don't get caught up in it. Don't allow yourself to be pitted against your neighbor or against your brother or you're against your father because they're the wrong political party.
Yeah. Yeah, here we go again. Albert Einstein, about a year before he died, he did say at the tail end of an interview, he says, I have studied the universe more than most, and I have found that the whole universe is made from the vibration of love.
It is.
Yeah.
There's some really neat science when you look at the DNA and the coding of the DNA, the actual encodement of it. There is language there. And what it spells is miraculous. Absolutely miraculous.
Yeah.
But also by design, the iPhone, the technology is set to replace our eyes. That's why you speak to Siri, which is your iris spelled backwards.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
Siri is that replacement to your own iris. It is to be the vision that you see. So don't believe everything you're seeing on your phones, whether it's an iPhone or not.
Yeah. A quick question that just came to my mind here. When we are raising, I think more so probably globally are able to raise our consciousness to the level that we may be going to that so-called new world. Will we take the physical body with us, or will it be just consciousness that is going? What do you think?
Let me pit it to you this way. If you had if you're driving a beat up pickup truck and someone says, if you're willing to leave that beat up pickup truck, I'll get you a truck that has unlimited miles and will never break down. Would you be willing to leave that beat up pickup truck? Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. And same thing for the sports car analogy, or for the electric car analogy, but that beat up pickup truck represents your physical body now. And yes, we will be able to escape them when we die, but the body that we are able to exist with after that is eternal and energetic. And some of us will choose to phase down into the earthly realm in that body. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about this pickup truck here, but yeah, I'm ready for something new.
Yeah, I mean, I put a bit of mileage on mine, and
Yeah,
I'm on the Second Life program with mine, so I
yeah,
appreciate every mile I've been able to put on mine.
oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah, who isn't up for a new pickup truck? I think that's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I see that. Oh, I have another one. When you felt, when you went after you died, when you felt the love, do you think the love itself was God, or was it God maybe created the love? What do you think?
To me, in my perception, I feel that love energy is the fabric of existence, and it is God.
Mhm.
I feel every little tendril and piece of that love that was poured upon me by the grass and by the trees and by the water, by the flowers, and by Drake, my guide. All of it is
Mhm.
that fabric, that quantum fabric per se. And I would say that is our creator.
Yeah,
But I also think that our creator is far greater than our brains could comprehend. Our human brains cannot comprehend who and what creator is.
yeah, yeah, that's a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
We can only imagine, but sometimes, or most of the time, probably our imaginations get short.
Yeah. It's kind of like a cookie contemplating a baker. Mm.
Yeah,
The baker made the cookie, so the cookie can't
yeah,
contemplate the baker.
yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. Yeah. And now quantum mechanics is coming around to a lot of the spiritual principles. And I think that there will be a day when religion and spirituality can live under the same roof. Do you see that day?
I do, and I don't see it as like Christian Science. I see it as actual bridge work, building the bridge and helping us understand the quantum reality of faith and intention and belief, and how strong those energies are, and how by us just believing something, even when it's not real, the universe starts reacting to try to make it real for us. So if we go out looking for fire every day, we're going to find fire. If we go out looking for blessings and looking for God and looking for manifestation, that's what we'll find. Eventually, that's what we'll find.
Whatever you allow to dwell in your mind the most, in your mind, that is brain and heart, and the field, what you allow to dwell there the most is what you're going to have in your life.
Yeah. And there's scripture that says, seek and ye shall find, ask and it shall be given, knock and the door shall be opened. So make sure you're using those good energies. Knock with good energies, ask with good energies.
Absolutely. I see we're coming down towards the end here, but talk a little bit about the book that I got a peek at it, The Light After Death. That is, I think, your earlier one, and you got another one coming out, but I want you to mention that.
Yeah, that's the original book, The Light After Death. It's been out for about 2 years now, if I count properly, I think. Yeah, about 2 years, and we've done extremely well with it. It was done as a labor of love to help share my experience, because every time I shared my experience verbally with people, they wanted to get a book so they could have their own copy of it to reflect upon. But yeah, it's done amazingly well, and without really promoting it, we've been able to impact and have a positive influence in the world, to the tone of getting 50,000 of them out there to the world. So I'm very proud of Lynn Taylor. He's my co-author on that, and Richard Paul Evans, who's our publisher. It's a miracle that it's been so popular so quick. And the number one question we get is when someone completes the book, they want to know when the workbook is going to come out. And so we have created a workbook. We're in the end stages of final edit, and that should be coming out here towards the end of the year, towards Christmas-ish, around Thanksgiving or Christmas. Yeah, so that will be coming out, and if anybody wants to track that or get in line, they can go to my website at livinggodslight.com, and they can track all of that there. Yeah,
and also you're on Amazon, so
yes, on Amazon, Audible, Kindle. Yeah,
that would be good. And that book, that'll be a good Christmas present, and the new one comes out.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Eventually, we want to set up a social network of like-minded individuals who can come from any political party. They can come from any religion. They can come from any of these places that we all come from, and they can know that Living God's Light, as our organization, it is a nonprofit, that it runs as a safe space for us to love, care, and unify with each other, and really seek for that inner divination. No matter what name we put on our deity, we can find that inner connection and help each other foster better relationships with our Creator.
But we really need that right now.
We do.
Yeah. Especially in the months coming.
We really need that gift of perception. And when we are in a state of fear, the first thing we lose is perception.
Yeah, you go back into memory because that's what you know for sure.
Well, memory is one thing, but one thing that the dark energies want us to do, they want us to go off of survival instinct, fight or flight. They want us running into corners and hiding, or they want us fighting with each other because traffic's rough. I mean, it's horrible, the things that you're seeing on our phones every day, how people are treating each other because they bumped each other or because someone was stealing something, or it's horrible the way that we treat each other. If we open ourselves up just a little bit every single day to our own personal connection with the Creator, it opens up a place where truth will flow unconditionally on a regular basis, so that we're not pinned in a corner. We're not selected for one of the teams.
That's what we need. Absolutely.
It is. Because we're all in the human race. We're all in the human race. Every single one of us. Yeah.
Yeah. One last question for you.
Okay.
If you could talk to the whole world and the world is listening, what would you tell them?
I would say, please understand that for all of us to love and care for each other, we are loving and caring for our Creator. And for all of us to hurt or harm or hate another, we're hurting, we're hating, or we're harming our Creator. Yeah. Allow yourself to do the latter, to do the better part of choosing to love, support, and help all beings on this planet. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's what we need to do. And that's why I've been saying that there is no need for the 10 commandments. There's only one that we need, and that is, it's not even part of the 10, but it's love one another.
Yeah. If you truly love one another, all the others fall into place.
All the others taken care of.
They do. Yeah. But the most important one to love is to authentically allow love for yourself. Because when we don't love ourselves, that's when we become prejudiced. Yeah. That's when we find fault with others, is because we're not allowing love to have a home in us. Yes. Yeah, that is awesome. Love is the most important, authentic love is the most important thing for us.
Absolutely. Okay, we're down to the end. So thank you very much for being with us. This was wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Aage.
Thank you. And you know me, sooner or later, I'm going to have to try to talk you into coming back again.
Sounds good. That sounds awesome.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Aage.
Yeah, thank you for being here, and for all of you watching and listening on the different 44 platforms. Until our next show, be good to each other.